It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Alaja Nema Akashat. It's a very...
I'm fine. It was a busy weekend yesterday. We prayed for my dad, my siblings and I, and we did it the way my father liked. Only us. We read the Quran, we did all the prayers, my mom was there. It was really nice. I have some feedback. Some of these my mischievous pranks I play. One caught up with me yesterday, so my sister almost beat me yesterday. I will share the gist. Your old age. In my old age. She's older than me. Yesterday, Auntie Annie named her grandchild, Remilekun Timisiri. I crammed that one. I did not call her, but I saw the video she posted.
Yes.
And today is my auntie's birthday, Auntie Bimbo.
Nice.
Let me call her full name.
Auntie Bimbo.
Yeah. Abimbola Adijat Oyele Grillo. God bless you. God bless you. Every time I think of you, I bless you in my heart. Thank you for all that you are in my life. God bless you. Happy birthday. Today after work, I've decided no work, even though it's a Monday. We're going to our house. We're going to do birthday.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
How are you doing? Happy birthday to you, man. Hello, Topo. How are you?
I'm good. Grateful to God. I've been doing sales promo for like about 10 days now. So we're intensifying towards the end of the month. I'm grateful for the response so far. It's definitely an improvement. Last month was like, what happened with the advert? We are waiting. What happened with the sales call? We are waiting. But this month, we thank God that the effort is bringing in results. I'm excited about those that have jumped in on the offer. And I'm looking forward to more people taking advantage of the offer. So please check me on social media and jump into the offer that we have for the month of July. Yesterday, I had my cousin with the kids in the house. So we had like 3 extra children with my 3 boys. So 6 children in the house. I knew what to do. Biscuit, ice cream. Everybody was happy. Can I have more ice cream? Go and have. Can I have more biscuits? Go and have. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Except I did not sleep on Sunday afternoon, but I'm very grateful to host them. We had fun.
How are you doing, Mariam Longe?
I'm doing well. How
Your
are
cough gone
you?
totally?
Not totally, but definitely the last stages of it. So I'm much better, thank God. The weekend was good. I used the weekend to start reading Stopper's book, and I think it's a really good book, especially for young people who are trying to, understand this money-making game. I thought, it's good. But then,
book out?
yes.
I just was...
We're not... You were
okay,
on the show the day I brought it.
Anyway, secondly, if you've been following me on social media, I've been talking about Plastic-Free July, and it's just my way of, bringing awareness to how we can live with less plastic and how we can live healthier. So we're winding down, end of July, and I hope that we all learned something from it. And if you haven't caught up with it, just go through my page this month and see all that I've been doing concerning bringing awareness and educating all of us. And for those who always keep up, with me, thank you so very much. And I hope that we'll see more and more of this in our daily lives, Yeah.
Can you make amala with those pots?
Yes, you can.
Transparent pots.
Borosilicate.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to order that sometime.
Okay.
When did you order it from? You can send me the link. I tried to order it. That got me a small one. Okay. I had to send it 10 bags. Like, I don't want to amala with this one.
I can't advertise, but that supermarket, they have...
Yeah, because I ordered this one and it was too small. But over the weekend, it was great. I had the opportunity to MC the Africa Praise Experience on Friday. Yes. It was awesome. I see that Tinkala Shelori is... trending because of Alashe Yori was trending because of she used the go on the stage. Okay. And honestly, at that moment, for me, it was a gospel concert. Concert is about you getting the crowd excited and happy. So she used those trends. She used the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now it's going online saying that why would she be incorporating such into gospel? It wasn't a time for worship in church. It was a concert. It was a concert, and it really felt like a concert. Sometimes you go to a gospel concert and you just like, okay, this is a worship concert, but this was a praise concert, and it was fantastic. I thought it was phenomenal, and I thought she did a fantastic job. And all the artists, all the other ministers, not artists, all the other ministers did an amazing job. It was fun. I mean,
I saw your video. You were so hyped.
I was hyped. But when what's that guy's name? Bidemi Olaba came on.
Yeah.
I was this. Oh, I jumped off. I had it just no. It was fantastic. Thanks to Pastor Paul and the House on the Rock team for having me. It was really exciting. Okay, let's go on a short break now. When we come back, We'll look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. Recapitalization, 5 banks in capital market to raise 1.26 trillion naira. Etu, Danjuma others join 9 Mobile board. Kamala Harris campaign raises $200 million in 1 week. CBN clears next of kin to claim funds in dormant account. 28 housemates begin chase for 100 million naira SUV in the Big Brother Niger. NAF strikes as the Nigerian Air Force strikes destroy 12 illegal refineries in Abia and Rivers. Leave Lagos out of it, NLC tells protest promoters. And Kenneth Okonkwo dumps OB, LP, 2 killed in Boko Haram's attacks on police stations. Okay, story.
You know, the CBN had said they were going to take over unclaimed balances in dormant accounts that has remained there for over 10 years within some banks, and they gave directive to the banks to email whatever relevant email attached to the account. And they named this the unclaimed balance trust fund where these monies will be put. And so now they're saying that they have cleared anybody who are legal reps of account holders, beneficial owners, with relevant documents of the beneficial owners, so any account, and the next of kin document of, what am I saying? I'm babbling. So they have cleared the legal reps, next of kin of dormant account owners to come forward to claim whatever is in those accounts with the relevant legal documents. And they can write the next of kin or survivors of those account owners can email or write through their banks to the CBN for these monies that are now going to be kept in the unclaimed balance trust fund. This is me trying to summarize with all.
Yes, okay. I've got strikes by the Nigerian Air Force have destroyed 12 illegal refining sites and 2 reservoirs in Abia and Rivers states. So the NAF spokesperson, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, confirmed this yesterday. So first, the statement, he says that heading towards Owaza, 3 illegal refining sites were observed hidden under thick vegetation, which were subsequently destroyed. The crew followed the river line down to Komkom and Ikoloma in River State, where 9 illegal refining sites, 2 reservoirs were discovered and destroyed. In total, 12 illegal refining sites and 2 reservoirs were destroyed. He says that the sighting of the illegal refining sites in fenced living environments by oil thieves was indicative of the sophistry of illegal oil refining trade and would require other means beyond airstrikes to checkmate them. He says in the meantime, of course, they'll keep, using the airstrikes, but, trying to also reminding communities of the dangers of having these refining sites within living environments. That's human beings live there. There's so many, environmental, apart from the environmental impact, also the impact on health of human beings. So, we're talking to them to please reconsider this. But in the meantime, the Air Force will keep doing what they're doing while, hoping that in other ways, communities and everybody else will be able to talk to these people, not to endanger their lives in the name of, stealing crude oil and and all. Yeah.
So I have the Kamala Harris story. So since Joe Biden had dropped out of the race, she has raised over $200 million for campaign, and these are 66% of this from new donors. So obviously, she's not yet the official candidate for the Democratic Party. It was just a nominee, and she was the fact that it's still presumptive at this time because it's not yet official. However, regardless of that, she has gotten $200 million already ahead, and they said they signed up about 170,000 new volunteers for the campaign. So they have about 100 days left to the campaign, and they're waiting for the first week in August, where there'll be like an online vote to officially make her the candidate of the Democratic Party. We'll see how that goes. But
why do you think she's getting a lot of money?
Huh?
Why do you think she's getting so much money?
I mean, there's support. People just want her. The idea of having a first female president is cool, and she's getting that.
In our lifetime.
In our life.
In their lifetime, but we're alive
all
to
part
say. So I want to talk about the NLC. The NLC in Lagos are saying that the chairperson, Mrs. Funmi Sesi, has said that protesters should leave Lagos out of the protest, that anyone who wants to protest should go to their own states and protest there. Speaking specifically that she's of the opinion that if there is peace here, then we should maintain the peace, and that people who are faceless should not come and wreak havoc within Lagos and not allow people, individuals who are not involved in the protest, go about their regular activities. Also mentioning, there are many other speakers, both former governor of Abia State and former aspirant on Labour Party, candidate on Labour Party, Peter Obi, also spoke up concerning this, and everybody is generally asking for peace, that there's conversation around the fact that it will be hijacked, and their opinion is, let's, as much as possible, listen to what the government is saying. Back to what the NLC chairperson of Lagos said is, the government should continue to engage them so that there will be no need for protest, and Lagos State should assign farmland to those who are interested in farming so that they would douse the tension going on amongst the youth within the states.
Moving on now to the Punch hardship protest. US, UK, Canada issue security alerts and traders fear looting. Fuel rises to 1,300 naira per litre as depots run dry. SIM and NIN linkage, telcos begin final mass disconnection. Court orders £1 billion payment to Oceanic Bank staff. Victim under pressure to drop police station rape case, says family. And LH Telecoms acquires majority stake in 9 Mobile. All right, which story are we taking?
I have the Oceanic Bank employees. So the National Industrial Court in Lagos the Lagos Division, let me put it properly, has awarded £1 billion plus some zeros naira to 1,742 former employees of the defunct Oceanic Bank. So during the merger between Oceanic and Eco Bank, some people were let go of some staff, and they had gone to court to seek several reliefs, including payment of their contributions to the Staff Savings Investment Trust Fund, some unpaid gratuities, and short payments of severance benefits. EcoBank, on the other hand, went with a counterclaim asking for 967 million, saying that this was excess severance and redundancy payment, but the court awarded judgment in favor of the ex-employees, and the court has said that they should be paid their monies before February 15th. They should be paid the monies owed before the February 15th merger.
Okay. Let's okay, one more story. Go ahead.
Yes, you will remember the case of the 17-year-old girl who was raped by the police officer when she went there to report a case. And we remember, I think the last place we had heard was that they are taking they're doing some medical investigations, and people are wondering why it's taking so long. A member of the family, name withheld to protect, the identity of this young person, said that the family, especially the mother of the girl, has come under undue pressure by the family of the police officers for her to withdraw the case. So, and then it so happens that, this particular officer lives in the police barracks, and the mother of the girl actually has a shop just in front of the police barracks. So there's a lot of, they come under, yes. In fact, I think this young boy has been told not to even be in the area because he had come on social media to reveal this part of the investigation. Anyway, the police are saying, in their response to this new information, they're saying that they have gotten the medical report, and then updates will be given very soon.
Okay, let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be,
Yeah. I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
Final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final
You don't
answer.
have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now.
Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
My name is Nachika Okeke.
My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name is Damilola Banire. My name is Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen.
And this na Abigail.
And I dare on top of you, pigeon.
I'm going to bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This na wetin you want.
After that day, the man
You no go see am
disappear.
again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey find the husband, you not see sign say the guy small thing, you don't vex, don't give
Signs dey always.
If they look for person we go give them to you, fact as it be.
Men no dey ever get fault. If baby not dey for her, na the woman.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. You have a story?
Yeah, so I have the story of NIN linkage and the fact that telcos within Nigeria are going at the final stage of disconnecting subscribers whose NIN number hasn't been linked with their telephone numbers. The this disconnection was supposed to take place around April 15th officially, but the NCC, that's the Nigerian Communications Commission, postponed it till July 31st. They said after careful consideration, it's been moved to July 31st, and now subscribers that have not connected their numbers are now being disconnected. The deadline is 31st of July. If you do not connect your number by then your number will be disconnected. That's tomorrow.
I was already disconnected.
Yeah, I was going to say, some people are already saying it, but some users said that they've had issues with some, particularly, I don't even, I shouldn't, but the yellow company.
Well, it's in the papers.
Yes, it's in the papers, according to, thank you, my dear.
When you want to saw.
Punch carried it that MTN has blocked 100 numbers from their network, and many of them have complained about losing services. They also said some have tried to reconnect. They've linked 2 years ago, linked it again, and they are still getting disconnected. And they are, the complaint is how do Nigerians get redress from this, especially if you have proof that you have linked once or twice and yet you still get disconnected.
I have been getting messages, in fairness. I just ignore them. For the past 1 or 2 weeks, I've been getting messages. Because I already linked. I just, it doesn't really matter to me. But now I got disconnected. I have to now go to the office today to go and find out what happened.
A lot of wallow.
It's a lot of major headlines. So the United States, United Kingdom, Canada have all raised the alarm over the likelihood of violence during the hashtag bad governance protest in Nigeria. So they've asked their nationals in the country to avoid getting caught in the confrontation that might occur between security agencies and protesters. Also, advisories have come from various markets across the nation, Abuja, Sokoto, Kano, Katsina, Ogun, Zamfara, Gombe, and so many other parts, say that they need security around the market areas to prevent those who are hijacking the protests to cause violence within their areas. So quite a number of, also in addition, quite a number of police officers have been withdrawn from non-essential services to be available for security across the nation. The CSP Okon Moses directed that the withdrawal of riot policemen ahead of the protest. It's also had people who had assigned to various personalities have actually had their police officers withdrawn to ensure that there's enough security personnel around the country to protect lives and properties. Okay, moving on quickly now to Daily Sun, our next paper. Nationwide protests fallout, senators, reps, politicians desert Abuja and travel abroad. Nnamdi Kanu's release will reduce tension, Southeast monarchs tell Tinubu. FG cites 60 billion naira solar PV module assembling plant in Enugu. NDLA arrests Spain-based businessman with cocaine consignment concealed in sandals in Lagos State. 9 mobile constitute board, Etu Danjuma, Edun, others join. And Nwayawu Ohaneze summons emergency NEC meeting. Okay, which story?
NDLEA has arrested a 50-year-old Spain-based businessman, Francis Akagiobi. He was leaving for Spain and he was intercepted. They said that they found that he had cocaine, 2 parcels of cocaine weighing 1.20 kilograms in the sandals that he was wearing. I mean, would they not pass that level of putting it in the sandals that you're wearing? Yeah. Oga, you knew. Anyways, thankfully, NDLEA has arrested him. He claimed that he had received the consignment at a bar in Port Harcourt and that he was supposed to deliver it to a friend and neighbor in Spain for a fee of 5,000 euros. The moment he would have if he had successfully given it to that person, he would have received 5,000 euros. Of course, NDLEA is on his job. They arrested a kingpin of a syndicate who their own job is to smuggle, loud into Nigeria in small quantities and also outside the country. So, well done, NDLEA.
Okay.
So the people of Enugu will be hosting or accommodating the 60 billion naira solar photovoltaic. There's voltaic module assembling plant. This is an alternative energy providing solution. And speaking during the foundation laying ceremony was the Minister for Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Uche Naji, where he said this, of course, this project shows the good intention of President Bwala Tinubu for the Southeast. He also used the opportunity to remind them that the Southeast Development Commission was signed into law, and he says this means that in billions, if not trillions, we'll be getting development and developmental projects and monies into the Southeast. And he used the opportunity to advise that they should desist from any protest. He says, our people should not join. Indigbo, don't engage in protest because anytime we waste in protest, that is money to us, and that would have entered our hands. And he's using the opportunity to just, appeal to them to stay off.
So according to Daily Sun, some of our senators, members of House of Reps, are traveling out of the country ahead of the protest that is coming up August 1st. According to a lawmaker, he said that the governors, the president are all protected. Many of them have multiple security operatives to protect them, but they as lawmakers don't have that, and they have to find a way to protect themselves. So many of them have bought tickets, and they said, hey, they're not going to the UK and they're not going to America, so don't look for them there. Looking for other countries that so they're going to other countries that is not very likely, and many of them have actually bought their tickets already. They are actually supposed to adjourn. They asked for a closer adjournment so that they can leave on time and take their families. Some of them have gone under the guise of my children are going for summer holidays or medical checkups, but they know that they are not properly secure because according to them, they're also remembering what happened in Kenya, that many of the protesters siege on the
so our
parliament.
Our National Assembly and other houses are on their recess. Even the judiciary is on the judiciary recess.
Yes.
But you know how this
they would thank you for pointing it out, because
So
there
this
was
was something that
regular
happened.
recess and this is a season of holiday. But let me just take the story of the Southeast, because the Council of Southeastern Traditional Rulers have appealed to the federal government to release Nnamdi Kanu. They expressed optimism that his freedom would douse the tension within the area. They said they are joining their voices with the 5 governors of the Southeast who called for his release, as well as all the lawmakers of the Southeast who have also called for his release, saying that there are some people that are diehard fans of Nnamdi Kanu, and that because he hasn't been released is the reason that there's a lot of tension within that geopolitical zone. They also mentioned that, of course, they expect that there would be some form of agreement, that measures and deals to be made to ensure that after he's released, nothing happens. But they, as the Council of Igwes within the Southeast, feel that it will bring down the tension and promote peace within the area. And they also mentioned that many people feel pain for the fact that he's been locked up for so long. They are appealing to the president to look into pardoning him and create new measures to protect the region.
Okay, moving on, another story. The Point, let's find a story that harrowing tales of homeless woman with disabilities sexually abused by several men. Panic grips Imo Imo residents over reported prowling of organ harvesters. President Tinubu should resign as Minister of Petroleum, says Olisa Agbakuba, and bank stability at risk, experts warn. Okay, which story?
Okay, so I have this harrowing tales of the homeless woman with disabilities sexually abused. Her name is Abiba Toyin Ahmed. She was born deaf with some intellectual disability as well, and so she cannot remember or recollect anything. She lives in Osun State, and The Point, thank you for taking this story in Osun State. She's been severally raped by random men. She cannot identify any of them. She's been pregnant 5 times, has 4 kids. She's now HIV positive, and she's constantly taking advantage of. Only one man of all the men married her to house her, but he died 2 years ago, and so she's back to the same experiences where she's been kicked out by her family members, not cared for, left hungry, and so left at the mercy of men who take advantage of her. I want to appeal to the First Lady of Osun State. I want to appeal to your kind office, because the chairperson of the Deaf Women Association, Mrs. Omolara Oyebode, is the one giving this account to The Point on her experiences her entire life and how they've struggled to care for her and how they are now burdened. They've also had to raise money within that association to pay for her hospital bills. I appeal to you, kindly please take this person.
Yeah.
She's a resident of Oshogbo.
Okay, one story that caught my attention in The Point is many residents in Owerri, the capital city of Imo State, and environs have been thrown into a huge worry because organ harvesters are there kidnapping and terrifying the entire community. Residents claim that the organ harvesters have taken over the city and call on the state governor to strengthen security in the state to curb illegal businesses. And the government has also warned them to be careful the kind of transportation they're entering, because actually they use public transportation buses to abduct some of these young people, take them, kill them, remove their organs and sell. And it's actually a major business now, according to this report. So organ harvesters are now in Owerri. They have started the illegal trade of abducting people, taking them to their hideouts and killing them. They will kill them and harvest their organs. People come to these hideouts to buy human parts. I have stopped visiting pepper soup joints because there is no one to trust now. One might be eating human flesh in the name of goat meat, pepper soup, all sorts of things. So there are some organ harvesting, there are some...
We'll look for ways to dispose
just
the body.
horrible, horrific. This is we the people. Okay, our final paper, Vanguard. Let's see how much time we have. Hardship, police protest, organizers dig in. Abuja politicians behind banditry and killings in Benue, says Governor Alia. Shortage, fuel prices rise 21% to 850 naira per litre as marketers shut stations. Gay marriage approval, Anglicans threaten to break away from Church of England.
Yes, I have that story. So the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Church, has threatened to break away from the Church of England after General Synod voted to approve same-sex marriage within the church. The Nigerian church is actually the biggest, the largest communion that has condemned the decision and the violation of its biblical teachings, and has announced that is no longer recognizing the authority. It would no longer recognize the authority of the Church of England if it proceeds with the move. They also mentioned that there was a 95% vote. No, 95% voted for, 95 votes for, 91% against, and the House of, just a breakdown of all the votes according to how it went. But they've said that this is where they stand, because where they are positioned, and many Nigerians have been clamoring to find out what they would say. So this, I'm sure, would bring peace to the hearts of Nigerian Anglicans.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Gbenga Adeyinka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Gbenga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the question.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for enter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this, because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? Think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking, because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catwalk. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalking.
That's good walking.
Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
My name is Nachika Okeke.
My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name is Damilola Banire.
My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen.
And this na Abigail.
And I dare on top your view pigeon.
I'm going to bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This na wetin you want.
After that day, the man
you no go see am again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey friend the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person we go give am to you, fact as it be.
Men no dey ever get fault. If baby not dey for her,
na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, you make person no fit talk true inside. But for this country, we not say if we open curtain in the morning, waiting no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanja gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
Husband, we no even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some poria.
Thanks for staying with us. So there have been continued long queues across the nation concerning the NIN ban. Many phone lines have been barred because of their network has barred them as a result of not being able to link their phone numbers to their NIN. Many claim that they have actually linked their NIN numbers to their phone, but for whatever reason, it's not recognized by the network. So some of the networks have actually gone ahead to ban many of the phone numbers across the nation. Millions have actually been banned. Obviously, they were working towards the July 31st deadline, which they had already given as a time for people to link their NIN. What are your thoughts? We'd like to open our phone lines for Nigerians to call in to share their own various experiences on this, because we know that many are actually gone through this. Gone through this. You can call us on 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect, please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. So for me, I've actually linked it because I have linked my phone number to my NIN. So I was surprised. I got the messages in the last 2 weeks. I've been getting those messages, NIN update, NIN update. But I disregarded it because I just thought it was a general message to all Nigerians, not knowing that I was actually going to be affected until I was barred. Just I think it was yesterday or 2 nights ago. I was barred. I can't make any calls, and you can't even reach me. If you try to call me, it says a number doesn't exist. It's only my WhatsApp that's working. So I have to make that trip today to the phone, to the network, to see how I can get reconnected. But what are your thoughts on them? Have you experienced this, or do you know anybody else experienced this?
My own personal experience hasn't been anything. When you asked us to link, I linked up, and I haven't had any of those issues back and forth. I've heard, of course, people around me, sometimes you make some calls and he'll tell you that the number you've called does not exist, and you're shocked. So what you have explained, I've heard many people also speak about that. So there are two things now. I think we have a number of Nigerians who still haven't done the proper linking. But then also the telcos, I think they're having an issue too with their data or something of the sort. There are just too many people complaining of, having linked their numbers and still they're being sent these messages or bad. So I guess we'll wait to hear what the telco says. But I feel it's unfair to punish Nigerians if this is a problem that the telcos are unable to handle and not that Nigerians are not doing what they are meant to do.
So we've been linking our lines for a while. The notice to link NIN started with the former minister for Pantami's office, was the communication.
Yeah.
And we've been on it for a while, and the networks or the telcos were made to give us links to link our lines. I did mine under the green network. I went, and suddenly there was a blockage. They kept giving me the notification. So once I was traveling when I was traveling for my father-in-law's burial, I saw their booths just empty at the airport. I said, this is the place to do it. I went in. They linked it for a few days. They said 24 hours, but it happened to be 48 hours. Eventually, we had this linkage and then it was corrected. So such ease in doing things is what we need right now. This morning, one of the hairdressers was saying her MTN was already blocked. And it was because of linkage. I was like, did you link your number? She said she did, but that she found out that she was cut off. So the linking and whatever technology they used at the time sending out links probably didn't work for particularly the MTN network. And so now they are going to compel hardship on Nigerians. When my SIM got lost and I wanted to recover it, if you even drive past their first office, you don't want to stop there. The crowd is overwhelming, and now that there's a need for people to want to go and because of this NIN, the numbers and all of that are also linked to our finances, our financial institutions. People will be worrying on how to open them. This is what we would prefer to avoid. This is what we would rather avoid, this rush to do it. So as a telco, I would expect more innovative solutions on how to link numbers without people crowding those places or having to get one document or the other. You can't expose us because inside that problem, somebody will create a business. Yes. You have to settle to see some settle. So please. And they should please talk to their staff. There's no need to be rude to anybody when we come to your office. Don't give us attitude. Because we will come now. And you see them when they're overwhelmed. When they're overwhelmed, they give you some attitude, except they know.
Nigerians also give them attitude when they come. They are angry, and it's not them that disconnected you.
We had over 200 people out there.
And they would have been there from morning.
Yes. So I'm of the opinion that the intention is right. Every phone number that we have should be identified and traceable, which is what the NIN is supposed to achieve for us. And awesome idea, fantastic, but we've struggled with the implementation for this idea over the past, in the past 2 years. It's been consistent. We would cut you off now, we cut you off oh, let's extend it. We cut you off. Some people did not have issues. The NIN platform itself also had issues. While some people had a very smooth journey through NIN, many Nigerians have had to go revalidate not once but twice. I had to revalidate my NIN. The number that I registered, they said, come for revalidation. Then we went for revalidation. My parents went for revalidation. And then they said, no, the picture of their face is not clear. That when they took the picture then, they should come and take picture again. And it was costing money to do it again. So when a policy that is supposed to serve us and promote, protect, and all of that is now beginning to cause a lot of hardship, then we should review the policy again and place the punishment on those who have truly failed the system. Because in this place, some companies' inefficiencies have failed the system. The current challenge of MTN and the constant issue of, oh, they've barred your line, when people can see that they've been registered. Like my own parents' case, they got a message. They did that text one, where you text they say text this number. They did a text. They said you have been connected. Okay, fantastic. So why do you now bar my number? How do we now get redress for this? What went wrong with your system? Why would I come to your office and the system is down? You say, I can see your number, but I cannot connect you. Somebody needs to, like, heads must roll. Who is causing that? People will spend their time. I will queue up. You like your number 205. You now waited and you got to the point where you are supposed to be attended to, and you sit down and they said, oh, we can see that your number is there. You probably linked, but we need to do something. We don't know what to do. You will come back again. Oh, it's important that it's just if you love. My pastor preached yesterday, and the message was that a lot of the evil and hardship you see Nigerians suffer is because leaders don't love. People don't love. If we love ourselves, like if you as the person who is serving me loves me, and you know the system is down, you will come outside and tell everybody, the 200 of you, oh, system is down. If you wait the next 3 hours, maybe we will call you back or something. Like you would, out of love, be compassionate to people. Not that you'll be like, myself, you people have been giving me hits, so I'm not bothered about you. It is sad that we will now be asking them to give extension again when we need NIN to be linked.
Well, you see, I mean, it was on all sides, because as I said, I got the messages saying that I should go and link it.
Well, I feel like it was
it because I've already linked. All my numbers were. I didn't think they were talking to me at all. Yeah. So, but that's also a system failure, because we all actually linked. For whatever reason, our linkage was not didn't work properly. So they're having us to revalidate. I don't know how we're going to fix this problem, but I have to go after the show right now. After work, I have to find a way to get to the.
Many of the centers are just really tiny places, you know, and you have these people just queued up all the way. These people are going to be overwhelmed. I've had reason to be at one of the offices for these telco offices to do something, and I can tell you that, you know, being up there, I can see the sort of stress and that they go through. It wasn't even as, you know, we were not even as many as what this is going to be, but they come under a lot of pressure. But, well, that's their business. They make money from it. So what I would advise is maybe they need to have more people on ground, because you'll be waiting and then somebody has to go off for a break, but you still have people just waiting. So please, because there's going to be a crowd, my advice is all hands on deck. Make sure everybody's out there, and then we're able to sort issues. I also had the situation where I went the first day and they said, we could not do it, we have to wait the next day. I want to come to the place and have my problem sorted. I don't want to be told to go and come back, because this is the place to come and sort it out. There's no higher office or a different place that I can go to. Those are the issues I think people will face, and I hope...
But is it so impossible to do they really need to see you before they link your numbers? Because you only just need the NIN. And to register your NIN, you need to drop a number. I don't understand.
There's a security thing, you know, about it as well. Because for me, my own case, the fact that I got my number since I was in university, my very first number. So some of the biometrics taken then, I think it was much older, so you don't have very clear pictures and things like that. So usually I think they would like you to come in so that they can do those things over again and have better and clearer whatever. You have to swear all these affidavits.
So those are revalidation. You see this present jam, these students who wrote jam with the NIN numbers had issues. Some of them, you know how students who have like 10, 20, just be buying SIM card up and down, register with a different one, and then they had their issues with their SIM card. Some did not have the right numbers, some have lost the card, some could not even recover it, they didn't have their packs and all of that. They had issues before JAM sorted it out. And one of the persons who took JAM, my family friend, She couldn't check her result because, they need to get a code and all of that. Eventually, JAMB just opened up a different portal and said, go on this particular website for those of you whose cards are lost. And that was how she was able to check her result. So I'm thinking, well, it cannot be that, the big names, telcos, can't solve this problem. Really. Must it be that we crowd the offices before we unblock numbers? If you're giving out a link before and it wasn't working, and it worked for some other network, open the links again with improved innovation to make it work.
Oh, it would have been nice to open our phone line.
Taking people's productive time, keeping them out in the sun. The way people have to stand under that tree at First Act 23 Road, it doesn't make any sense.
All right, I'll have to open our phone lines to see if the callers can call in. But do you have any comments on social media if we wrap up on this?
So people are complaining about mentioning different experiences they have had. That all this linking is annoying. They should have technology to trace criminals in this age. I go into a foreign country, Southeast Asia, buy SIM at the airports and live my life. No linking of SIMs.
Those things,
they have a structure.
Like, not even that. Like, wait. There was a time in their own country where they had to go through this migration. We didn't know about that then. Their own citizens also complained. After this migration is done eventually, where every new child comes in, the child is born, gets to the age of 16, gets their own SIM card, is ready. It's going to eventually get smoothed out. These are the rough patches. So it's all this, where we went to the Asian country, the West too had their time where they had this rough patch. So please, nobody should be comparing us.
Different.
I don't even have a
every country has a rough patch.
With us growing.
Remember when they were trying to do this Medicaid back there, trying to figure out, because social security number, there was a lot of issues. People were thrown off. But eventually, it's been sorted. Now you go there now, you get your medical pay.
So I don't have a problem with us growing at our own pace. Exactly. But there's a way we do things here that we don't do. There's a complete disregard for human time. Absolutely. We are shaded in the sun. It doesn't make sense. No matter who you are, when you come, all of us will queue, begumming ourselves at the gate.
Thank you.
And then at 4 p.m., somebody will now come and say they are closed. I got there a minute to 4, and somebody locked the gate. You have to come back. We're closed. I was like, please, we have been here. We have closed. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Security at the gate is now doing you are doing it. Yeah. No, I'm not in the mood to be business. Yeah. Nobody should rip nobody at this time. We should be decent. I should be able to walk into your office. I'm a customer. Get my SIM link to come with my NIN card, give you the details, whatever you need, and walk out easily. Don't come and suffer me because I want to have a network.
Let me take this call from Uche. He's calling from Magodo. Thanks for calling your line. We lost that call. But I think, listen, whether we like it or not, this process, this migration has to happen.
It's important.
Right? So we're asking that the networks, they are more courteous. You're going to be expecting a crowd in your offices. Get a canopy, get chairs, get water. Let people feel some kind of decency and dignity to their life. Don't just come in and have me able to cluster to your kids. It's really horrible.
Yeah. Moses Lawal has put up some links. I don't know if he works with any of these telco companies and says linking via these links actually work without having to physically visit their offices. So it's at TVC Connect. Everybody should go check it out. Let's see if he knows.
People should be careful. Let the link not carry us to some link.
But I also, another thing that is also important.
Oh, I have to go to commercial break. Yeah.
Oh, Fiona said that if your picture is not clear on your NIN, the linking will not work. So that might be why some people have tried linking and it's not going. So that means you need to go back to NIN, verify your picture, and that is with money now. It's no longer free. To validate your picture NIN, then you now
go on a short break. When we come back, we'll see if we can take a few more comments. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right. Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 220 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Okay, that's all we can take. Eje, can you close the show?
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You scissors. What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah,
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. Entertainment for pure entertainment.
Hello, Niger. The time is right because the prize is right here. Be a part of our turbocharged studio audience for a chance to win amazing and mouth-watering prizes on The Price is Right. Visit www.thepriceisright.ng or The Price is Right on social media for more details on how to participate.
Registration is open to all Nigerians 18 years and above. Come on down, Niger.
It's about time.
The Price is Right is proudly brought to you by Smart Cash powered by Airtel.
Entertainment to me is everything.
Thanks for staying with us. I think I have Gemma on the call. Good morning, Gemma. You're live. Oh, I think our lines are maybe the baddest. I hope not. I don't know where the lines come from. Take the comments on social media.
He says we should talk to Airtel Nigeria for them. That they keep,
Airtel.
Yeah, they keep barring lines. They've been barring lines since 1 year ago. You go there, they will tell you your NIN is now linked, and then you go back home. Within 1 week, they buy it again. As you know, Airtel should do something.
The network.
With their banter.
Yeah.
With their banter.
So somebody was saying that there are also there's also subsidy in telco industry. The government should let the telcos charge what they deserve so they can invest in infrastructure. All this restriction is holding the country back. Somebody else say, how can the government invest in infrastructure how can the government who didn't invest in infrastructure tell the telcos how much they should charge? Leave it for free. So some telcos are complaining that there's a bit of, there are pushbacks when they try to increase the rates concerning phone calls and even for data delivery. And those pushbacks might also be affecting their ability to deliver quality service. So we're not subsidizing, we're restricting their
They should not even start. First of all, you started by overcharging us. We know the story. Don't even, please, please. Don't let Nigerians come for you for that one.
And then
first, you overcharged us the SIM. Do you remember how much they used to sell SIM in the beginning? People who used us, finished building skyscrapers on our head. Now you are saying it's because of the pushback. Pushback is not from federal government. Pushback is from Nigerian citizens. Please. Solve this our issue now. We don't want to stay on queue.
Thanks for calling, Mr. Caller. You're live.
Yeah, Mariah and
Good morning. Yes.
ladies, good morning. See, this thing is very funny. My wife left this morning by 6 a.m. And when she got there, she said she met a crowd like they were in the market. Some people got there around 3 a.m.
Wow.
It is that bad. And we tried to register it at home. There's a link that MTN sent. We called the customer service and said we should do it. So even after the registration, they were still sending OTP to the number that is bad. So the next thing is for you to go there physically. She has been there since morning now. We don't know when she will come back. So it's somehow every other time, and these numbers we've linked it before. I linked our own and my children's own, and they bad it too. My own is free. So we don't know the way out in this country, honestly. May God help us.
This account is scary.
So I'm hoping Dangote has been speaking a lot, doing press release. I would like the telcos to do a proper press release on what the issues are, explaining to Nigerians you owe us that much. We are your customers and you don't have a business without your customers. So it's important that there is a proper press release to explain what happened, why this is happening, and put the blame where the blame should be. You might end up discovering that the blame is actually with NIN. That is the NIN platform that is not working, because there was an issue that people were saying, the telco was saying that I'm in the office. He said, it's not us. We cannot link you. Like, our own server is good, but whenever we try to get feedback from NIN server, it's not working. So there are some small things that it might be from the NIN. Technology can fail.
And also, the messaging wasn't very specific, because the messaging I just got, NIN updates, go on, and so I disregarded it. But now, imagine the message was clear that this number could be bad if you don't update by this time. You know, that is a bit more instructive and will make somebody say, okay, let me rush down to find out what's going on. But right now, you just said, link your NIN, and I just disregarded it because I just realized that I've already linked mine. So, again, it comes back to communication. Who is the one putting out this communication? Who is the one alerting customers? How are you alerting them? Are you communicating what you're saying? Is it getting to them? Do they get the messages? It's a totally different thing for you to
even talk
generalize messages.
What services? Because somebody mentioned that they should be giving subsidies and all of that. Can we talk about poor services? There's this network I am on.
There's plenty of time for poor. Let us focus.
No, we will talk about it now. It's part of it. Okay, imagine me linking on that, the old service I got this weekend, trying to link a number on that. I will go to their office eventually and go and queue and be pushed around the way I was pushed. I cannot even forget the harrowing experience. See, they must improve on service and quality of call. Data that you buy, you must get value for your money. I will buy data and then I'll be stealing my Wi-Fi connect. My husband will be like, remove these devices from the Wi-Fi so that the kids can do classes, and I'll be jumping on it just to push through. It doesn't make any sense. You buy data here, you buy data there.
So that one, I have to buy data on 2 different lines. I have Wi-Fi at home, and yet sometimes you don't have anything coming in for you. So improvements in service. But for now, people have businesses. People's lives are connected to their phones. So example, this phone is the only way you can call them or reach them to conclude business, and then you have barred that number and they'll have to see what. So we're hoping that is resolved.
We have to wrap up on this, but I think really in a nutshell, we expect that all the various networks involved should make life easier for Nigerians who are coming to their offices in the next few days to help them with their NIN lines. And also NIN offices are likely to get more customers too. So we also ask that the NIN, in expectation of these customers coming to come and do validation, please ensure that they are treated with respect, and some kind of decorum is put in place for them, because that's really what causes the frustration Nigerians get when you get somewhere and you have to line up for hours and nobody attends to you and you're not getting your things done. That's where it gets really horrible and complicated. Okay, we have to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll move to our next topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Hello, Niger. The time is right because the prize is right here. Be a part of our turbocharged studio audience for a chance to win amazing and mouth-watering prizes on The Price is Right. Visit www.thepriceisright.ng or The Price is Right on social media for more details on how to participate.
Registration is open to all Nigerians 18 years and above. Come on down, Niger.
It's about time.
The Price is Right is proudly brought to you by Smart Cash powered by Airtel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Made Kuti in the building. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7, to be honest, because ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We will not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
Neuroplasticity.
And based on,
he asked a question that was subjective about high life, and he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, Made.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
God, I'm Shion Kuti. No, wait. Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
You can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. So my final answer.
No. All I have to say is this show is really about drinking.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
The questions don't matter.
That's the whole
Justice
idea.
is out the window.
We throw caution to
we
the
have
wind
no
right
morals here.
On the 7 of 7.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Barkamu da warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
To hit the street on August 1st to demonstrate against bad governance, hardship, and hunger. What are your thoughts on this? Many governors, many leaders across this nation have come out in different ways to try to dissuade Nigerians from getting involved in the protest. What are your own thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think Nigerians should stand out? Do you think that we should go ahead with the protest? How do you think government should respond to this? How do we ensure that the protests are not hijacked as expected and speculated by many of our leaders? You can join the conversation. Call us on 081 0764 1679 090241634440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, let's talk about this. It's the hottest news in Nigeria now. Everybody. Every speech you go to, everywhere you go to, everybody's talking about. In fact, governors are saying, trying to stop you from protesting. And we remind ourselves, it's our constitutional right to protest. It's part of what is protected as for Nigerians in our constitution. So protesting itself is not illegal. Nobody should dissuade us from protesting. But what are your thoughts? Why do you think this is a bit different from why everybody's stopping us?
Yeah, I was totally surprised at the level of protest messaging that was coming from the government, and why everybody kept saying don't protest. We are doing over and over again. It was so strong that because I've not been following global news or African news, so I didn't really understand until I just asked my husband, like, why are they so against? He said because the fear of what happened in Kenya. So for many Nigerians who are not aware of what happened or what's happening, it resolved it a bit in Kenya, is that a simple protest in terms of hard, like, oh, life is hard, this policy of tax has now brought hardship on citizens, got really messy, violent, and deadly. So I guess the Nigerian government and Nigerians are scared that we don't want that to be our reality. We still recollect what happened in the NSAS protest, and we're looking at what's happening in Kenya. And remember what happened with Arab Spring, where it just starts with one country and then every other person starts complaining about what is going on, and it becomes a this blanket thing that is happening. So now I understand a bit about what is happening why the government is so against the protest. But I'm a Nigerian. I understand that my 1,000 naira can no longer buy what it used to buy January this year. I understand the fact that I am also having to deal with the difficulty of buying from last year. If you want to when subsidy was gone, to fill your tank has turned to, you have to be praying and chop belly before you can fill your tank. And so I can understand why Nigerians would want to start a protest. But because of the fear of all the other side effects that can happen, how many shop owners have enough barricades to ensure their goods don't get looted in the midst of this? Okay. So at this point, I am urging on the side of, can we verbalize our protest as opposed to going on the streets where it can become harmed, and taken over, hijacked?
If you put it the way you said it, protest has already happened. Everybody is talking about the protest. If the government themselves, they don't hear this message. This one, the message has already been passed. The truth is, just as you said, we see the hardship across everybody. I know 3 people now that have done various means to japa. The way they japa is unexplainable. I hope it's not through this channel, because they just had to leave. People are being dehumanized by the standard of living, where you have to beg or you eat the lowest kind of thing. Sitting the other day with my neighbor, I saw somebody just come whisper something in her ear. She goes in. So all the head of fish was what that person came to collect for her kids. And so people must survive. We cannot pretend that we don't know what is happening. And the sad part is that we see videos. I don't know whether they're verifiable, whether they're verified, of food stuff degenerating and spoiling in warehouses. Government-owned or government-sponsored warehouses where constituents and political leaders in those constituents, or how lawmakers are, people who can reach the people immediately, the chairman, are not doing anything. Rather than let this food spoil, let people eat to their fill. At least they say that from the belly inside, the power inside, that madman take decrease. An hungry madman, you go see him, go sleep. Let people eat. Let's even know where the problem is first. In the midst of this hardship, there's so much wastage. There's so much wastage. And we don't need an August 1st for government to hear this message. This message has long been passed. Everybody been talking about it. The deaf has talked about it. The blind has talked about it. The seeing can talk. Everybody, we are all talking about it. And the truth is that something has to be done. Reality is the government is doing so much. The people too, are we doing so much? I was talking to a young boy recently. I said, he said, we cannot, we are hungry. I said, can you farm? This is my nephew. And he was like, auntie, I'm a tech person. How can I farm? I said, then we will always pay for the exchange to import the food that you must eat. We will pay the exchange rates now to bring the food from the countries that are willing to farm. Are we willing to do the things to change? So this government, I don't envy them right now. They have to take tough decisions. In the midst of all this hardship we want to change, we don't want to do so much. We want government to do all.
Mariam, what are your thoughts on this?
My first thought is, what is the fear? Protest is not riot. Are people planning on going on a riot? So that's the question now. I still have PTSD from NSAS. We know. We went through a personal experience. You both more than we, and I still think about it. I still remember how all of us in one voice were against NSAS, and we came out and we wanted this to end. And how it went from, a movement for sanity in our society with demands that young people had put out, to burning houses, killing people, looting, assaulting and harassing human beings. So that's my fear. That's personally for me. But protests, because things are going wrong, I think that it's okay to talk about it. It's our, forget that it's our constitutional right. Things are tough. And it's not about poor people, middle class, rich people. See, poor people, yes, we can say, our food, it's food. We can't get food. Food is expensive. Rich people that are employers of labor who have collected money from debt, to run these businesses that they have employed us. They have collected debt in foreign exchange. They cannot pay. So everybody's affected. So you're right, Nima, when you say that this protest has already started. It has started. And if this protest is really about what we're going through, then it's okay to protest. But my fear is it a protest we want to do, or are we coming out to riot? Because I don't understand how, when someone says, oh, in my own opinion, I don't think people should come out and protest. And then everybody's, almost screaming and shouting the person down. Like, this is already conversation online. What is it that we're planning, And whether we like it or not, it's still the same as that will suffer it. There are some people that are able to get on a plane and leave.
Yeah, they don't leave.
Who do you think they will leave? It's me and you that are still suffering this hardship that will be here. So please, let us protest. We all are going through this hardship. The protest is to say to government, this and this and this and this is what we are going through right now. Times are tough. We cannot even feed. Petrol is high every day. Look at the queues, And now, so it's right to protest, but my fear is what are we planning to do with this protest? So what's the end game?
My worry has always been, because I am one. I was born into protest. My father has been protesting, and Bekor and some Kuti, all the big guys, Femi Falanos, these are protesters that we've seen in the past. Even the president himself used to be a protester, and so protest is not something that we don't know of. But the protests we've seen in the past had a face, had a leader. Bekor and Sokutu called for a protest, Ganifayemi called for a protest, and we see them at the forefront leading the protest. This protest, the fear is that it is faceless. And when you have a faceless protest, because no matter how you protest, every protest ends with a conversation. Somebody has to be called to the table to negotiate. Okay, these are the demands. This is what we want. How do we meet halfway? Remember when hashtag NSAS started? There was a letter given to Governor Sanwo-Olu. Please take this to President Buhari to tell him this was what. And eventually turned against it. But the point is that something was given. So there has to be a face. So you can't have a protest and say, okay, it's faceless. Faceless protests can be very, very threatening, because the governor doesn't know who is in charge. Who do we talk to? Who do we negotiate with? Number one. Number two, we don't even need Kenya. We've seen how Lagos State will tell you the billions they lost, the buses that were burnt in. High Court was burnt. High Court that has history was burnt. We saw the history happen in this Lagos. We don't need Kenya. We saw enough. We had enough. Kenya didn't even have a clue. Well, they actually switched their parliament. But here, properties,
individuals,
properties. We was lost.
Malls.
So we saw it. So I think that is the fear of government. But for us to also protect people's constitutional rights, it's important for us to know that, let us know who are the organizers, let us know what their demands are, and then let us see how government can then meet us halfway in this protest. I'll come to you, Nima, because I know our guest is already waiting. Mr. Daniel Bwala is a commentator, public affairs commentator, and he'll be joining us on the show. I hear that he's already connected with on Zoom. I tried to get him on. It would be nice for him to join the conversation. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Oh, good. I see you're here.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I know that this conversation concerning the protest is the hottest topic in Nigeria right now, and the ladies have expressed their initial thoughts on it. I'd like to get your own initial thoughts on this protest. You've heard our own views. How do you think this should be carried out in the first place?
Right. Good morning, and thank you for having me. In fact, at the point, I said the ladies in the studios are stealing my thought, because most of what you guys were expressing were actually my initial thought on the matter. Now, like we said, and it bears repeating, protest is constitutionally guaranteed, because the Constitution guarantees right of assembly, peaceful assembly, expression of your thoughts and opinions. So even if the opinion is to express your dissent against the government for the way in which the government is, running the country, you have that right. But why the government is a bit skeptical about this protest, and again continues to plead with the Nigerian people to shield the idea of the protest, is that there are characteristics of a peaceful protest that we see not in this call for the protest. So what are the characteristics of a peaceful protest? Number one, identifiable leadership. Every protest must have a leader, because the aim of the protest is to negotiate. And where there is no leader, then there is nobody to negotiate with. That means you're going into an endless protest, which will give room for people to hijack it for their sinister plan. And this particular one is hydra-headed, because it has different groups that have different objectives. Secondly, every peaceful protest has an identifiable objective or demand, and the demand must be reasonable The demand must be demands that can be made within the ambit of the law. For example, you cannot go protesting, demanding for what the law does not provide, or demanding for what is against the law. We have seen in the various characteristics of the agitation, there are individuals who are making genuine, demands for good governance, demands for the pay rise for workers, demands for solution to hunger and unemployment. But there are others who are also demanding the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu. And yet we have a judicial system in Nigeria that is dealing with that. So in other words, there are some demands within the precincts of the various protests that are anti-democratic because it is not consistent with the law. When you have a protest with different demands like that, you don't know who to sit and negotiate with. You might reach an agreement with one group and the other group say we are not a party to it. That happened, I think, 4 years ago with the NSAS.
Yeah.
I remember when Davido suddenly, emerged like a clap of thunder out of a blue sky and went to the force headquarters and thought he was negotiating on behalf of the NSAS protesters. While he was doing the conversation, some people disowned him and declared him persona non grata. I remember when Showore was also talking on what they said, we have nothing to do with you. So when there are no identifiable leadership and you don't have identified objective, then it's difficult to deal with it. And then the last one is every protest has a timeline. You must know when to stop. What killed NSAS was that they said they were going to be on the street for about a week, and then they later said it's going to be endless. You have to be able, when you make a demand, to give government time to meet with the demands. Now, what we are seeing building up in this present protest is is antithetical to what we believe as the basis for protest. They don't want to leave the street. They are asking for what cannot be supported by law, and they are placing a demand for the destruction of the state and its infrastructure. And the outcome of every protest that is peaceful must not result in the loss of life, destruction of property, and undermining of the democracy, which is not what we are saying. So this is the reason why the government is begging and pleading with the Nigerian people to say, look, those of you who have genuine concern, give us time. In fact, let me be honest with you before you come up with your follow-up question. Some of the demands that were raised by the people who are planning to protest, the president has already begun implementing that. They talk about pay rise. The president has agreed with the labor workers. It has been passed to law, the minimum wage. In fact, the president committed further to say it is going to assist the private sector to meet up with those demands. They also asked for government to deal with hunger. The president approved the release of truckloads of food to all the states of the federation. They asked for governance. This one they're saying, end bad governance. The president has single-handedly, under his administration, achieved the local government autonomy, which has now brought financial, resources to the local level where governance can be delivered. Of course, you see the stimulation of economy. So he's already implementing what they're asking for. That's why he's asking. So what else? Why are you going to the street? Identify yourself, come to the table. Let's have an understanding, just like the Labour Congress, and then we can make progress as a nation.
Okay, I hear what you say about, having a face. But I think we've gone past that stage where we can actually identify a face to any protest. We are a large number of people. We have a very huge youth population. How do we appoint a face to a protest? This, like I said, this protest has already happened. The hardship is in everybody's house. The rain is falling on everybody's roof. If the people want to express, this hardship, is it not sufficient for them to just carry their placards and do a protest across town rather than have a face negotiating with government that they don't even trust?
So hardship is not a protest. Hardship is a condition. It's an unfortunate condition.
Changed by,
protest
by policies.
Yes, a protest is expression of the hardship, and it is done in many ways. Individuals have a right wherever they are to protest. We've been doing that every day, actually, when we meet and we talk with individuals. But this protest that they are talking about is not what you say every day in your homes or church or on the street or in the working place. This one is a coordinated expression of dissent to the government with the expectation that demands must be made. It has to be organized. So you ask the right question. How can the leaders be organized? Then my answer to your question would be, who are the people that began the initiation and giving of the date and timelines, raising of the articulation of the demands? They are human beings. They are not bots on Twitter. So those human beings that came up with the idea, came up with the date, drew up the demands, and started the planning of the process. That means there's a coordination of people. Why are they hiding the head of the leadership? I thought that we ought to have learned the lesson from NSAS. NSAS could have been a huge success if people were willing to come out as leaders of those groups and negotiate. Any protest that does not have a leadership that will negotiate with government, it is not a protest. It is a sinister plan to undermine democracy.
So I feel like earlier in the conversation, your first comments highlighted the fact that there are different groups with different demands. So obviously, do you believe that it is possible for these different groups, though, like you gave example of those ones demanding for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, that, okay, some of the protest condition is including that, some is including food, some is including other things. So is it possible to have these different groups who are united by the, like, okay, we have a united enemy or we have a united person that we feel can solve our problem? Can they now come together to have a leader or a group of leaders?
Yeah. It is as simple as ABC. It's part of human nature, the ability to organize. Part of human nature, the ability to negotiate. So why did we say there are different groups? Because we have identified different articulation and different demands, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say if it is social media that has been the platform for the coordination of this planned protest, what they ought to have done is any group that is coming out with the 10-point demand, we would have seen on social media or mainstream media, those ones that are asking for either 5-point or asking for Nnamdi Kanu, you get a contact, connect with them and say, okay, can we have a meeting? Come with your demands, we come with our demands, get all of the people who have identified, who have demands, coordinated demand, let us have a meeting so we can agree on them, where it's likely that point A is reflected in all of our demands. We put it as one. Point B, then those ones that are not in all of those that are peculiar to specific group, we'll bring them together and say, let's dialogue. Are they achievable? Do we go with it? Do we drop it? Or do we go with this one first? If the government meets with this demand, they will come up with the second. Like the way Labour said, okay, let's go with 70,000, but it's renewable. We'll come back another day. That is part of human, effort, in arriving at a good negotiation. So if they had coordinated themselves, for the past 2 weeks, the federal government has been calling on them. 2 weeks. If you truly intend to end bad governance, you truly intend to bring about good governance, you truly intend to end some of the vices that you talked about in your demand. I believe that you will, even with both hands, singing, you will come identify yourself so you can have a sit down with government. Labour sat with government and they achieved something. So when you believe that you cannot achieve anything meeting with the government, you rather prefer to stay on the street. The government is also not saying don't stay on the street. The government is also saying that we have a duty and a right to make sure that Nigeria runs, which includes protection of the lives and the property of citizens who are not going to be involved in the protest, to be sure that they are not looted, to be sure that there is no destruction of life and property, to be sure that the state functions consistent with national security. That's all that the government is saying.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so we live in a changing world. Our world is evolving, and a lot of things happen on social media right now. So I understand that a protest should have leadership, is the way it has always worked. But with the, introduction of social media, a lot of people have found a way to use it to protect themselves. So we have heard of protests before where leaders were scapegoated. So they were singled out and almost punished for even being the leader of a movement. So you will find that people now are using social media in a way to protect themselves. So I'm thinking that government also needs to find new and evolving methods for conflict resolution. So it doesn't matter if there is a known physical leader, or is it more important that somehow the voices together are saying one thing? Most of the demands is what we've heard many people say over and over again. And what, in this new changing world, in what way can government now resolve these issues in such a way that, it gives people peace? Not everybody wants to come out and throw, and destroy everything, but also we want to know that government is hearing us without anybody being scapegoated.
Right. So you raised 2 points, and they are valid points. Number one, the necessity of being identified in order to avoid being made a scapegoat, right? There is, first of all, the response to the question will be that for anybody who ever imagines that he's going to be a leader of a movement, you know that what comes with the territory is the possibility of being arrested or being detained, but that you make up your mind, if this is what it costs for me to be able to bring about this, I will. Anybody who wants to lead a protest and is not prepared to be locked up for what he believes in is a coward. That's one. But the second part is that the government will not even do it. Nigerian Labour Congress, are they not also an interest group? Have they not said so many? Have they not even gone on strike that ground the system? Was any of the leadership arrested? In fact, when you identify a leader, that is when you put the government on their toes. This is where you're able to twist the government, because the government will have no reason to clamp on anybody, because there are identified leaders with identified objectives that are attainable and they are consistent with the law. The non-identification of leadership gives room for undemocratic elements and political opposition to use it in order to undermine the state and force a regime change. We have seen it all over the world. That's point number one. But point number two, with what you said about governors. You see, if there were identified leaders, they would have appreciated that probably 40 to 50% of what they have already begun protesting, the president is already on course delivering on those. Because the Nigerian workers now have a good deal for the start in terms of their minimum wage. Then the local government autonomy is bringing governance to the local level, which means it deals with primary health care, and deals with poverty, deals with insecurity at the local level, because there are resources now to be able to beef up local security and policing. Even our traditional leaders will become instruments of intelligence for the government and not for the undemocratic element. And then, of course, the third one, you have seen that the president released truckloads of food. And then the bigger conversation will be, it seems the federal government is releasing funds, the federal government is engaging. Then let us have a look at our state. Are they really re-delivering what they're receiving from the government? So this is what an organized group will be able to say, okay, we've gone 2 past this one and we'll go to the third one. But when you don't identify yourself, even when all of your needs are met, you will still not be satisfied. I remember, permit me, Maury, I remember with NSAS, when they tabled all of the demands and sent Governor Shangolu, he went to Abuja, delivered it to the then President Buhari, who agreed he was going to meet all of those demands. Guess what? The people on the street said that they are not even interested in that they will stay for as long as it takes until all of the demands are made. Government is not a magic company. There are certain demands that will take time. There are certain demands that will take consultation. There are certain demands that will take engagement. There are certain demands that will call for restructuring. And all of this will call for time. If you want overnight change, then you actually do not mean to protest. Tell us what exactly you intend to do.
Okay, let me take this call. Vivian's been holding from Port Harcourt. Good morning, you're live.
Yes, my name is Vivian. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Yes.
What I'm saying in effect is Nigerians are hungry. We need to demonstrate. Mr. Tinubu is not hearing us. He doesn't understand what is happening. My children can't eat yam. I bought a piece of yam that is not as good as my ham for 8,000 naira. It's not even enough. Coastal rubber of Gary is 4,005. Coastal rubber of beans is 9,000. People are hungry. We don't need any faith. We did it during Buhari government. We did it. We demonstrated during Babangida. We didn't have a faith. Students, we said Babangida was poor. And he came out and listened to us. Abacha kept us in strike. We did the same thing. Tinubu protested. We don't need any faith. We don't need any hijacker. We don't need anybody to come and speak to us. Our stomach is speaking. What we are asking is stomach infrastructure. We are not interested in their building their roads. Whatever they are building, I don't care. We are hungry. And I cannot stand and allow my children to die in my face. This is stomach revolution. If that man does not do anything, he's going to have revolution. There is no pretense anymore. Morayo, you are women. You go to the market. They can corrupt the men, like the man who just spoke now. He's Tinubu's man, but they can't corrupt you, Morayo.
Vivian, let me stay with you for a second. I like that we're engaging this conversation. So let's imagine all of us go to the streets and protest. Now, some unscrupulous elements start burning down private properties, as they did at #NSAS. Some start burning down the buses, as we did last time. Do you think that is what that is it? Okay, do you understand the reason why why the leaders are saying we should kind of hold off on this protest?
Can I give you an answer?
Yes.
Can I give you an answer to your question? Now, this is a planned protest. And in planned, can I answer you that question?
Please.
This is a planned protest.
Okay.
As a planned protest, we have the police, we have the military, we have all the paramilitary, whatever. Okay. They can monitor this protest.
thank you. Oh, hello, Vivian. Oh, yikes. Okay, so we lost. So she's saying that the state should protect the protesters. That's fine. I mean, as I said, protesting is a constitutional right. But there was a question I was actually going to ask Mr. Bwala. I'm not even sure if it's a question because I was invited to a church yesterday for Sunday service, and it's a youth church. I mean, maybe I'm one of those ignorant Nigerians that I have never really attended that kind of space. Everybody, including the pastors, probably 35 and below. So I felt like a grandma entering that church. and I came in, first of all, thankfully nobody recognized me. I was just like a regular person. And I saw the energy. And I could almost understand the disconnect between our leaders. Because even me, Murayo, I entered and I'm thinking, where am I? Which planet am I in? I felt secluded. Like, this is not my world. Now imagine these guys out on the streets. All these things that the president is doing, they don't understand it. Why? There's a wall. They don't get in it. So it's either the government is not communicating. Okay, you've agreed with Labour, 70,000. Yes, we hear it, but how does it affect what we are buying on the street? It doesn't affect them. So there's still something. There's a wall that we need to break. How?
They're not in civil service. They're not in civil service, so the 70,000 does not affect them in any way. Like
they are the ones that are going on the streets. They are young people. They're the ones that are hearing these messages, and they will say they're coming to the streets. So the point is that, my question to Mr. Bwala is that the protests we've seen in the past, as Mariam said earlier, yes, there are ways where you talk to leaders, they have a conversation, but this modern youth, they are not interested. They just want to go on the streets to express themselves. So what's the creative way that government can use to communicate? Because obviously having a leadership is not going to work. It's not the factor that is required right now. So I don't know if I'm getting my question across to you properly, Mr. Bwala.
Right. Yeah, I get your point about communication, and I think that maybe there is a communication gap, but the government is making all the effort to communicate that. Let me give a scenario to the caller. I can feel his passion. I can feel his concern. In fact, it affects all of us, right? But I'm doing PhD here. I struggle the same. But let me give him a scenario. The scenario is that he comes out because he can no longer take it. His stomach is speaking. And I'm sure when he comes out to the street, the way he sounded, he doesn't look like somebody that will be involved in violence. So he will be peaceful. But there are others who may not have the patience that he has to be able to even come and call in and express it. They just are looking for opportunity. He probably has a relation, his pastor, or any member of his community who probably has a shop on the street, or has a shop in a shopping mall, or has a house that happens to be on the street side. We're a community, right? So what if he goes with this anger to the street, and then it results in the burning of the shop of his brother or relation or somebody he knows who is also struggling to sell and has been looking for customers. Now the shop is burnt. What of the infrastructure of government that is necessary in dealing with the problem? So let's say Ministry of Agriculture or whatever. What of the destruction of assets of government? What about the death of people that come out to protest arising? Because the thing is, once a protest turned violent, the government has a duty by law to enforce the law and ensure that there is peace. And in the course of doing that, there are casualties, either on the side of the violent protesters or on the side of government. This is the scenario you have to look at. Yes, we're angry. Yes, we're angry. But what if we go and this happens? Then is it worth the protest? The second part is, yes, the issue about hunger is genuine. Everybody can feel it. And I like the point you said, that increase of money to the workers does not result in increase or reduction of prices in the market or affecting those who are not in government. That's why there are these policies of releasing the truckloads of food, subsidized food. In fact, the president even said, I don't mind importing food from abroad just to make it available to the Nigerian people. There are other parts of economic reform that may not directly hit them now, but probably in the coming weeks and months, we are going to see the amelioration of the hardship. The truth of the matter, let us not go round and round. The truth of the matter, Nigeria is undergoing a reform. Reform is not convenient. Reform is not helpful. We have been living a fake national life in the past, of borrowing and spending where it is not necessary, of showing up of the naira, with dollars, or showing up of the dollars with the naira, of all kinds of bad policies that brought us to where we are. And when President Tinubu came, he saw it. Unfortunately, a leader must act. Unfortunately, the leader must take the bullet. So he had to take the bull by the horn. So your point is, if this communication is consistent, this communication is appealing, probably anybody who is going through hardship, we all go to church and they tell us that no matter what you're going through, by God's grace, we pray it will work. Why are you not angry with your pastor and say it must happen tomorrow morning? You have faith with the pastor that the word he has spoken, or with the imam that what he has encouraged you will come very soon. That same faith you have to the religious leaders. Have it with your government.
All right, let me take this call.
I can't trust the government. The religious leaders, so have they not been failing?
Let me take this call from Alaji Tubaris and holding. Good morning, Alaji.
Very much. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
And let me first of all appreciate your guest. He has broken it down. Again, let me appreciate your guest. You see, let's talk about the reality. Protest is a means of communication. It's a means of expression. But what we are saying is, what has happened to us in the past, we don't want it to happen to, we don't want it to happen to us now. What the government is saying, is trying to take up the masses, the innocent masses that are affected in the past. I bet you, look at the period of Hendmark. People that was, their property was looted, people that have lost their life, police people were, we heard of a lot of police people that were killed. Are they not Nigeria? All on the ground of protest. This is what the government is saying. That they need to identify, like your guest said, let the leader come out and express and show themselves so that they will now know who is responsible for this issue. So that is the issue. Look at what the governor of Abia said yesterday. He said the five governors has been ongoing. It is not today. Our refinery has been comatose, for the 2 decades now. Is it 1 year ago that our refinery is not working? So these are what we are saying. There are some issues that can be solved immediately. There are some issues that can be elongated. Yeah. So what the government is saying is that for the protection of the citizen and property, and that is why they say people should come out. So that is the bottom line. People should not misunderstand issue. We all understand that process is a means of communication, of an expression. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Okay, I wanted to talk to our guest. I want our guests to address the issue of, the president's effort to ease things. We see the 5 months removal of duties on importation of certain items, the distribution of foodstuff across certain local government. I don't live in the Ikeja. I live in the interior of Lagos. If foodstuffs are being distributed, I would have said it on the show. How come we have 5 different ladies here who has not experienced the foodstuff going around? Who are the people in charge of it? How do you verify that the food is getting to the people so that all this conversation will be limited as much as possible? Now, a young person who you're trying to convince at home will assume you received something. That's why you're convincing them. But if they have actually received something dignifying, as the president's intention was to reach out to his people, nobody needs to tell the person, don't join a protest. This is, something strange. But there are certain people within government who are supposed to ensure that this thing gets round, who are not doing what they should do. Exactly. And nobody is getting what they should get. And I'm calling out each chairman, local government chairman, to tell people what exactly they're giving out to their people.
So let me quickly respond to your point. And that is we're bringing the ball home to the goalpost. This is where people have complained that some of the appointees of the president, and I'm sorry, it is a sad thing, but I have to say it. Sometimes we have to tell ourselves the truth. Some of the appointees, if they are effectively discharging the duties as required, they would have, conveniently communicate the wisdom and the objective of the president to the Nigerian people. Because I have seen practically president bringing out of his belly everything that needs to be brought out for the good of Nigeria. I'll give you a good example. When they had the agreement with the governor for increase of allocation, remember the governors came back and asked for more. He gave them the money. They asked for food. He sent them the food. And in all of the meetings, if you have noticed, the president continues to say, look, the people at the local level, you have to take care of them. So I give you an example, since we are talking about food. Let's say the Minister of Agriculture. It is a duty of the Minister of Agriculture not just to dump the food, say, in one state and then go back. Your ministry must be able to have a coordinating, monitoring and evaluation group where everything that is sent to any part of Nigeria and Lagos must be brought out to the public for the public to know, so thing has gone to so place, and then there are people to monitor the implementation of that. It is not just to dump it. So the president has said, release food from the strategic reserve. Nigerians were not given a proper communication whether they later we started hearing there was actually no food in the strategic reserve. Lately, it's okay, release the truckload. And that's where it ends. So the minister's duty is to communicate to the people. Now, there's another part. When the lady who was heading humanitarian was minister, she was all over the place where there are humanitarian situations. You will see her. The media will cover. You will see her in helmet. You will see her in boot. You will see her in the water places. This is what is expected of an appointee of the government. Now, if that lady had been in the place where she is, she would have been all over Nigeria. I'm not saying that to say whether she has been exonerated or not exonerated, but I'm giving you an example of somebody that is on duty. Take, for example, the Minister of Aviation. I have my differences with him, but he's hardworking. You could see him on every issue at the airport involving the people, extortion of people. He's every day engaging. Assuming this thing affects all other ministries, that means that communication you're talking about would have been made available to the Nigerian people, whether educated or not, whether in the rural areas or in the open places. And they will be able to assess and they say, okay, we are happy in this area. We need improvement in this area. But when people are not maximally functioning, the finger comes to the president because he appoints them. But in actual fact, these people were entrusted with responsibility and they are failing. The good news for Nigeria is that without the prompting of anybody or the protesters, the president himself said, my style of governance is there will be assessment and I will sack people who are not performing. All of this process has taken place. The report has been submitted. Any moment, the president will take the decision necessary to regroup and then move forward. Nigeria needs to have a little more patience and then have faith in our government.
Let me take this call. Bolanle, thanks for calling. You're live. Good morning, Bolanle.
Good morning, Morayo.
Yes.
Please, let government do the right thing. Because people have been suffering. It actually is too much. Like that money they want to send to the people account is better. But the one the government gave to people, the people did not see anything. People are suffering. Actually is too much. So let government distribute the money in the bigger account so that everybody will be okay. Because the hardship is too much. People cannot bear it. So let government give them the money in the bigger account. How the one they send it.
Okay, I think, yeah, go ahead, sir. She was saying that they should get the cash.
What she said is very valid. Remember in the US, when the COVID broke out, they introduced, President Biden introduced COVID relief funds. The COVID relief funds go directly to the to the American people, American citizens, right? If you're living in America, you are documented citizen or resident in America, you get the COVID relief fund directly to your account, ascertainable, and it can reach you. Now, but when you pass, assuming this food thing is something that can be sent through account, people will get it. But you know the middleman, the third party, the manipulation. Imagine you are sending food to governor, it is rebranded for election of 2027. It is quite sad. So what she's saying with respect to the relief fund for money sending into the accounts will be powerful, except that there are people in rural areas who do not have bank accounts. You also have to find ways of communicating this money to them. There are people who do not have bank account. So, but that is an effective approach. In fact, I would highly recommend that approach much more than passing whatever it is through a third party, and then before you know there is stealing or manipulation of that.
So, Mr. David Bwala, the challenge is we've had 2 women callers who are for the protest. They are not. They don't sound like, oh, we are on TikTok or Instagram based. They are just people that heard about the protest and feel, based on the hardship they are facing, nobody should stop them from being able to protest, and they are of the opinion that they will not destroy any property. And many Nigerians share that. So I'm worried that this fear of destruction of property will be disenfranchising other innocent Nigerians who feel, I just want my voice to be heard, from being able to express themselves. Do you by any chance feel there are ways we can maybe ensure that we curtail the path of the protesters or limit where they have access to and allow them express themselves, protect them, and ensure that their ability to express themselves does not hurt other Nigerian businesses?
No doubt. If you look at the case in Kenya, it didn't start with violence. They were coordinated. They said they were going to do whatever, but they stayed beyond the time, and they could not see the realities of what can and cannot be within the short time that they can get from the Kenyan government. They allowed emotions to get the better part of them. The result is that Kenya is 50 years backwards now, as I'm telling you. As individuals, they are suffering, and as a country, they are. Now, coming to Nigeria, we've had a similar situation in NSAS. NSAS appears to be a century organized program. They were so organized, they were music, they were being supplied food, they were playing, and then suddenly when the government said, I will meet your objective, and they say, we won't leave the street, you have to know when the music stops. As soon as they say, we won't leave the street, the next thing we start seeing is that elements who wanted to subvert the process now started looting from among them. I don't think that the elements were imported from the other side, from among them, because one thing about human frustration is that when you cannot get assurances within a specified period of time, there is a part of human being that is like madness. It tells you to do whatever there is a prompting to do. And then you have elements who already our society has. Those who are thugs, those who are, thieves, kidnappers, armed robbers, and the rest. They cherish this opportunity because this is the only time they can do it and get people clapping for them. Then they can do it and get arrested by the law enforcement. So that is, and government runs with intelligence. The difference between that market woman and the government is that government has intelligence she does not have. She does not know probably from her neighborhood somebody is planning to steal her things. But the government, based on the infrastructure they have, listening to what has been going on, can tell who are behind. The politicians that are behind it, genuine agitation by Nigerians, but hijacked by undemocratic elements. It has to be made clear. Genuine intention, but hijacked by individuals. In order to separate the genuineness of that demand and the hijackers, is that those who have the demand should be able to identify leaders, meet with the government, agree on a point, give a timeline, tell your people, let's give government 2 weeks or 3 weeks based on our agreement. If they don't do it, we'll come to the street. That is the way to go.
Let me take Usman from Abuja. Thanks for calling, Usman. Good morning, sir.
It's a wonderful program and a wonderful topic has been lingering in the country for more than how many days now. It is quite nice that Nigerians are trying to realize their rights. But in as long as you are thinking about your rights, you equally consider the government. This is the first time we are getting a president that is very decisive. This is the first time we are seeing a president that is not thinking about his second time. He's thinking about how to fix Nigeria. But what is killing Nigeria now is that the president, he has gotten his arm. We are all supporting him. But you cannot be a father. You said you are eating okra soup in your house. You give okra soup to everybody to eat. And you are now at the same time thinking about you have to go and buy chicken. It should look very, you are talking strange. Nigerians are admiring the president we have, but all of a sudden they now hear that Mr. President, you have to buy a helicopter, you have to buy planes, you have to buy that. Meaning if you say you don't have money, why are you going into that? You can channel this money for people to have something to eat. You can have price control. You can go into the root of this problem. There are people that are frustrating the man. We appreciate him. He's very decisive. He's trying to bring Nigeria to a right channel where the youth should have their own, but he should lead by example.
Okay.
That is my opinion.
Thank you very much, Engineer Usman. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mr. Bwala, earlier on, you highlighted the inefficiencies or ineffectiveness of some government appointees, and, that's definitely a valid reason for some of the issues that we're facing. But also, how about elected Nigerians? We have governors. What role do they play? Because many times, I feel that we're so quick to run to the presidency or the federal government for our issues. Meanwhile, we have state governors, and thankfully now with the financial autonomy, we can be able to point to local government chairpersons. How would you say governors have been doing in this 1 year, within this 1 year administration? Is it something we're proud of, or do we want to see them do better?
Like I said, I was one of the, if not the leading person, right from the days of President Buhari, to talk about the need for us to look at governors. And I said it over and over, and it bears repeating that governors determine everything in Nigeria. Governors determine even the people the president work with. I said it. The governor determines who goes to the National Assembly as a House of Rep or Senator. He determines who becomes the president's minister by his nomination. The same thing with the DG, the same thing with the ambassadors, even the judges at the federal level, the governors influence that. There is no part of our human existence under our democratic framework that the governors are not playing a pivotal role. The only part where the government are not showing responsibility is their home state. And we build our conversation around this narrative as if we are running a unitary government. So what happened in my village, the president is responsible. And the governor wants you to believe that, but he doesn't want anybody to talk about the monies coming to him. Look at even the autonomy of local government and the state. I mean, the financial autonomy of local government, the way in which the governors were resisting. When it comes to resources coming, they will teach you through federalism. When it comes to administering the resources for the good of the people, they say the president is interfering on local government matters. So the governors are the problem, and I've been saying that. Now look at increased allocation. Increased allocation by 75%, over 100% to states. Do you know that 90% of the states of the federation, they have not actually moved an inch from when they were receiving the old allocation to the increased allocation in delivering governance to their people? And the allocation is just one part. They have internally generated revenue, they have domestic loan they collect, and they have a foreign loan as well as grants that they receive. So what are these governors up to doing? The reason why they do that successfully is because even the media houses in Nigeria, and I make bold to say, hardly stay on a conversation around responsibility of governors because majority of their clientele and customers are the state government that patronize the media houses. So if we talk about governors today, tomorrow, everybody keeps quiet until another day. But president, my wife insulted me, President Tinubu is responsible. In my village, they say I'm a madman, President Tinubu is responsible. But when President Tinubu says financial autonomy needs to be in the local government, the government will emerge like a clap of thunder out of the blue sky and talk about true federalism.
Let me take this call from Kayode, calling from Shagamu. Thanks for calling. Good morning, Kayode.
Hello.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please. Hello, Kayode.
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Yeah. Well, I want to I quite agree with most of what the caller has been saying this morning. They've calling. Yeah. Well, talk about that. That's under.
I can't hear Kayode.
Hello.
Hello, Kayode. Are you there? All right, so let me just ask you this final question because we wrap up. Because many have called, NLC and a few other government parastatals have asked that the protesters should leave Lagos State out of their protests because if we look at the other sectors, they believe that Lagos is working, in many ways. That protests should probably concentrate more in either in Abuja, where there is a seat of power, and other states where they are owing civil servant salaries for months, states where they're still having issues with general development. But Lagos State has lost quite a bit of money at the last #EndSARS, and it will only be respectful for protesters to understand that Lagos State is still somewhat trying to revive from that last episode of the protest, and that far and wide somewhat, Lagos State is working, so they are advising that protesters should consider leaving Lagos State out of it. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, apart from Lagos, there are one or two other states that if you go there, they are meeting up with the minimum wage. They are doing infrastructure. Like, take, for example, Lagos. Lagos competes with some countries in Africa, not just states. In terms of minimum wages being paid, you are seeing investment in healthcare, transportation is ultra-modern. Then you are seeing the areas in which they are bringing these governance to the rural areas in Lagos. If you compare Lagos of today and then maybe many years ago, if you compare Lagos of today with what they are doing, you will know that Lagos is actively involved or probably leading. But Lagos has the highest concentration of those who want to protest. That should be able to send a message. They are targeting infrastructure of state to destroy. After EndSARS, you saw what happened to Lagos in terms of the destruction of government infrastructure, yet Lagos is working as comparable to other states of the Federation. And Lagos is just an example. There are other states of the Federation where you see efforts by the governors. So if you are actually doing a protest for the purposes of entrenching good governance that you talk about, good governance starts at a local level under the framework of federalism. You are supposed to launch your protest in state first before you come to the federal government. In other words, now that you have increased allocation as a state, now that you have additional funds as a state, we want to know what you're doing. Because you see, at the federal level, the National Assembly can checkmate the president, the judicial branch can checkmate the president. At the state, is it the same? Yeah, but the House of Assembly of the state are mere appendage. The judiciary at the state, they are being oppressed by the sitting government. So there is actually no governor. The end bad governance to start in state because it is a state that there is no governance. Okay. But this is not about end bad governance in the races of the world for those who are trying to subvert democracy. Okay. Their target is President Tinubu. We have to wrap up with you. Not give him time to settle and make him unpopular.
We have to wrap up with you, but I can't let you go without asking the relationship between you and Senator Ali Ndume, who's your principal.
Well, Senator, he's not my principal. He happens to be a senator from my district. And we've been very good. We are good friends until when I met with the president. And then jealousy kicked in. And then he started, murmuring here and there. I continued to meet with the president. And by the time I met with the president in Saudi Arabia, he felt he can't hold it further. So he started jumping from one media house or the other, denigrating the president, saying the president is in a cage, he's controlled by people, all kinds of sinister things. So I now said, this is a senator representing my district. I need to call out that hypocrisy. I did an article calling it out. He now got angry, went to my state, tried to mobilize people in my local government to do protests against me. He now spoke whatever he spoke 2 days ago, insulting me that I am the failed lawyer, I am a dog and the rest. So yesterday I replied in a very concise article that I think should even be published and be given to everybody at primary school and secondary school to know the politicians they must avoid.
All right. Thank you very much. That's all we can take. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Bwala, for joining us this morning. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.